Welcome back. I'm Curtis Smith. In today's mailbag, we have a question from June, who says that she likes roses but doesn't have much success growing them. She goes on to say that she lives at 8,000 feet east of Taos. That explains a lot. Are there any roses that I can grow here, she asked. Well, June, roses grow really well in New Mexico, but your location is going to cause a problem. For most of us, we can grow the hybrid teas and the floribundas and all kinds of roses and do very well. However, in your situation, you've got a much shorter growing season, and that might explain what the problem is. So you're going to need to look at some of the shrub type roses. You won't be able to grow the hybrid teas, the floribundas, which are the more common ones. But this is a real nice shrub rose right here called Champlain. It was bred in Canada. It can tolerate cold temperatures. It can tolerate the short growing seasons. It does very well. And it's one you might look at. It looks a lot like other roses, and there are a lot of shrub roses like that. Another interesting one is this Rugosa Rose right here. This is one that's very tough. It tolerates salty soils. It tolerates the cold. And both of these are fragrant flowers. So these are some you might look at. This is a Rugosa Rose. The other is a shrub type rose. They're both shrub roses. And the Rugosa Rose, if you look at it, you can notice that the leaf is much more rugose, or it's more corrugated looking than the other roses. And I notice here that the leaf cutter bees cut some nice round holes in the rose leaf, but I think you've seen those before. But this is nice, and the interesting texture of the leaf makes the Rugosa Rose an interesting plant. So June, you can grow roses if you choose the right one. Tommy in Santa Fe writes, and he asks us, why is a blue spruce blue? Well, Tommy, a blue spruce has wax coating the needles, and this wax gives it its bluish cast. And if you look here, we can rub that needle, and that blue just rubs off, and the needles show the green that's underneath it. And so a spruce is really green. It's the chlorophyll that's needed to make the food for the plant from sunlight. But the wax is there to help hold moisture in the plant. That's one of the problems we have in our climate, is things dry out very quickly. It also reflects sunlight. And if you look at a lot of the plants which are native to our part of the world and our arid climate, they'll either be bluish in color or very often silver or gray. That's because they'll have a waxy coating, or they may have silver hairs or grayish hairs. These reflect sunlight from the leaf and shade the leaf. And so they're like little parasols, shading the leaf, keeping the leaf from getting too hot, preserving the water that's in it, and also keeping the wind from getting too close to the leaf so it doesn't pull the water out as quickly. So blue spruce is blue because of the wax that it has on its needle. Otherwise, it's a green spruce. From Portales, Ken writes that every time he waters his garden with the garden hose, the soil washes away from the roots of his plants, unless he waters so slow that it takes all day to water the garden. He wonders if we've got a solution for that problem. Well, Ken, we do. We've got what's called a water breaker. This is a device you put on the end of the garden hose. It has lots of little holes. It spreads the force of the water out, so the water comes out and doesn't do as much washing. If you had just the end of the hose here, the water comes out in a pretty strong stream, but through this, it's dispersed. It doesn't wash it as well. You can buy some that are round. You can buy these that are in this shape. This one actually has a little spike here, so you can stick it in the ground so it can water an area. You can leave it there and let it soak in for a while. Some of these come with a long handle, so you can reach out over large areas to water. And this is a real handy device to have. It's good to be aware of. It's good for watering new seeds that are planted. It's good for watering the new plants. It's good for a lot of things. I like having this. This is one of my favorite things in the garden. It's not very expensive in most cases, so definitely one that you ought to get. Carlos in Colfax County writes that he's seen large patches of yellow plants in some of the fields, and he's heard about a weed called leafy spurge, and he wonders if that's it. And in Colfax County, we do have leafy spurge problems. It's a new weed moving into the state and one that we're working with. But there are other plants that can cause the same thing, create a yellow appearance across the whole field. One of these is sweet clover. This is yellow sweet clover. There's also a white form. And it has a clover-like leaf, unlike the leaf of the leafy spurge, which is seen right here. This one has a long, narrow leaf, kind of like a willow leaf. And so they don't look at all alike in the leaf. The flowers are quite different. This is actually a much prettier and brighter yellow, whereas the leafy spurge flower tends to be kind of chartreuse. And it looks much more like a poinsettia because this is a spurge. It's related to the poinsettias. One of the other characteristics, if I break a leaf off of a sweet clover, nothing happens. But if I go in here and I break a leaf off of the leafy spurge, a white sap will come out. The spurges have white sap. So that's ways you can tell which one of these is really causing the problem. So Carlos, you have to go out and look at it. See if it's the yellow sweet clover, or if it's the leafy spurge, or if it may be something else. If it's neither one, you might want to take a sample in to your county extension agent.